And someone was like, oh my gosh, you look so exotic. What are you? Hey artists and art lovers, it's Allison, and if you hear a lot of background noise, I am doing laundry right now, and my laundry machine loves to scream and sing. So apologies for that, but I actually think it just stopped. So today's good news is that there was a fungus found growing in Chernobyl. I know that doesn't sound great, but NASA thinks that it could be grown on rocket ships and help prevent, or rather protect, astronauts from toxic space radiation. So that's really great. Maybe someday when I'm in space, it will be safer for me. So today I'm going to be continuing to add ink. Obviously, I'm going to work some more on the hair, pepper in some more shading where I feel like it needs to be. I'm really just kind of adding it as I go. Of course, I'm hoping to finish the hair today. I really enjoy doing this texture for the hair, the kind of like spirals. I think it does a good job showing like the kind of twist pattern that I like to do with my own hair. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive right into that. So I'm sure you'll notice by now, if you've taken a look at my full body of work, it's pretty obvious that I gear towards curly hair when I'm drawing, and that's for a couple of reasons. So the first reason is just that I grew up, like growing up, I really wanted straight hair. Like I wanted just like flat, flowing. I perceived it as easy to manage, even though like now that I'm a little older, I know that every hair type comes with its struggles, but I just really wanted straight hair. And part of that was because, I mean, one, I didn't like sitting and having my hair done. It just would get so tangled, and I just wanted to be done. And like I said, I thought that having straight hair would mean less time working on it. But also, if you look at beauty standards, and they've definitely become more inclusive since I was younger, but it's almost always bone straight hair, like movies, magazines, models, just about any media. Like I said, less now, but when I was younger, it was always just the straight hair. And then I had like Barbie dolls, of course, and they all had bone straight hair too, like even the black ones. And I just remember thinking that, so if I want to be like really pretty, I need to have really straight hair. And I even like hate saying that because I know how untrue it is, and it's like really, like looking back, it's like kind of sad that I felt that way for such a long time. And now, like, I love my hair. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I feel like, I just feel really happy with my hair now that I like know how to style it and know how to take care of it, and I don't have to sit while my mom does it. But part of that, I think, you know, now that there's so much more diversity and representation of different types of hair in the media, in movies, on dolls, in magazines, I feel like girls with hair like mine and all different textures of hair can feel more represented. Not even just girls, like people can feel more represented and see their hair type being shown as beautiful and not as difficult or not at all. So I want to be part of that, and I want to make art that always shows that kind of hair as not just like, yes, this is beautiful, but also like, this is normal. Like, it's something to be celebrated, but I also don't want it to be like, oh, if you're gonna have big curly hair, it has to be like amazing, it has to be a statement, and it has to always look beautiful. I just want to put it in my art as much as possible to say like, this is just hair, just like any other hair. You have like the good days and the bad days. It's not always going to be amazing. It's not always going to be that perfectly moisturized, flowing, catching the sunlight hair that you see. I know I'm rambling, but my point is, like, I want to not only celebrate it, but show it as more than just a statement. Like, show that it's just beautiful no matter what it looks like. And it's normal, because it's literally our natural hair. It grows out of our head like this. And I try to do all sorts of different textures and styles. I'm having such a hard time, like, focusing on this while I talk, because I have to be really careful. Okay, but I'm gonna try. I'll just go slow. So I try to do all types of textures, because I didn't even know until, like 5 years ago, I had never learned about all the different curl types and all the different hair types, and, you know, like things like how porous your hair is, and, you know, all that stuff, all those terms that I'm forgetting right now, but I never knew those things. My point is that there wasn't a lot that was even prompting me to look this stuff up, because I wasn't seeing so many different types of hair. It wasn't until I was like, I think what prompted me to start looking it up was actually I was listening to a podcast, shout out to The Read, and one of their sponsors was Form, and Crystal was talking about how that product helped her learn about her curl type. And I was like, oh, let me look this up. And it was like a whole new world. And so where was I going with that? I was saying that ever since then, I try to not just depict one type of curly hair, but to show all different types. So this one's more of like a twisty style. It kind of looks like what I do when I'm doing a twist out. And then there's I use the stipples to show more of the like 4C type, like afro type hair. And then I'll do like the wavy lines for, again, like more of the like the big curls like I have, but in a different style. Because even like with my hair, with any of our hair, like any curly hair, you know, it looks a little different every day. And I wanted to show that too. Like, I really like how much variety having curly hair affords us, and so I try to reflect that in my art as well, because I definitely, like when I was just starting to embrace my curly hair and not straighten it so much, I used to try to get it to look the same every single day, because I was like, well, this is the only way that looks good. And it took me a while to realize, like, no, there's other styles that I can do, there's other things I can learn, and if it doesn't look like perfectly neat, if it's got flyaways and like the ends are a little wild and like there's one sticking up this way, like, sure, that's not ideal. Like if I was gonna do like a photo shoot or something, maybe I wouldn't want to do that. But if I'm just like going out with friends, it's fine, because that's how my hair grows, that's how it looks. So my hope when I'm making art and putting all these different curl types in it is not only, well, my hope is that people will see it and kind of have that same aha moment that I did, or that kids will see it and feel like, wow, my hair looks like that, and feel excited and like proud when they look in the mirror, instead of like burning it to a crisp like I did in high school, or like even after straightening it, like just trying to make it look like, I mean, like a white girl's hair or something. Ugh. Also, a big part of the reason I will admit that I wanted really, really straight hair was because I had that emo phase, and there was totally like that thing with the bangs, and you could only do that if you had straight hair. So sometimes I would just like straighten my bangs like way more than any other part of my hair, and I just like am so thankful that Instagram and Snapchat were not a thing during that era, because I don't think there's any pictures of me looking like that. I don't think there's any, and that is a blessing for us all. It is a mercy. all that being said, I do still like straight hair, and I like having it sometimes just to like shake things up a little bit, do something different. But I approach it with like such a different mentality now. Like I don't feel like one looks better than the other or one is more professional than the other. It's just a different way to do my hair, and I'm really glad that I've gotten to a point where I can say that I'm comfortable with how I look with both types of hair. I mean, really, in general, it is just so crazy that we're made to feel that the way that our hair literally grows out of our heads, like we're made to feel like there's something wrong with that. Like, what am I supposed to do about it? Like, yes, there's relaxers and there's straighteners, but no, that stuff takes a toll on your hair over time. And yeah, there's wigs, and I love a wig. It's fun, and it's another way to just like quickly add a new look to your portfolio or whatever. But that's also not something I'm trying to do every day, and that's also not something that is feasible for everyone. Like, a good wig is not cheap. And also, I feel like ideally you should have like one of those little mannequin heads to put your wig on, and I just like don't want one. Well, that's a lie. I want one, but where would I put it? And because I have nowhere to put it, I don't want one. I'm thinking so much about hair right now. I'm thinking about something I actually forgot. You know those rules that are so unfair when you're subjected to them, and then when you don't have to deal with them anymore, you forget about them, like certain dress codes or not being able to drink when you're under 21. So one rule that I totally forgot about until just now, because I've been talking about hair this whole video, is how like in schools there were certain hairstyles that were distracting. Like some of the schools I went to, like you couldn't have your hair dyed, or you couldn't have certain haircuts, like a mohawk or something. And I'm sure you might remember that story. It went viral where like the like high school wrestler, they cut his dreadlocks, and they were short dreads too, but they cut them at the match, saying that he couldn't compete with them. And I think there were even schools I went to where like dreadlocks were like a no-no. And I just feel like hair, like, I don't really see how it can be distracting. It's kind of like the like tank top thing or anything. It's like how stupid do you think children are that they like will completely forget all the math in the world if they see like bright red hair or a mohawk or a dreadlock? Like, I just think this like policing of hair is one of the weirdest things that we do as a society. Oh, or even like all that aside, like colors and cuts aside, like the fact that like it's seen as unprofessional if men have long hair, or it's seen as like weird if women have really short hair. Like, what's that about? Like I said, it grows out of our head. Some people don't want to think about it. Some people love doing stuff with it. And I mean, unless you're like getting a haircut that says like I hate you or something like on your scalp, I don't really see how it can be offensive or like affect anyone's day what you're doing with your hair. And you know, unless my hair is like in like a 20-foot tall mohawk and it's setting off like sensors, and it's you can't see, and it's poking you in the face when I turn around, like I don't see how it could be distracting when you're at work. especially the colors. Like, you see those colors every day on other things. You see them on shirts. Doesn't distract you. Why should it be any different when it's on hair? And there's only a few states right now. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there's only a few that have actual laws against hair discrimination in the workplace. I don't think, it's not like places have written in stone in their policy, like, we don't like black people hair or something like that. But there's little rules in place, like the ones I just talked about in schools or in offices, any kind of workplace that police hair, and it's like those rules would really only affect a certain hair texture, or like natural hair that black people have, like, I'm trying to think of them right now, like some of the ones against like braids or hair accessories. I'm glad to say that I've never been employed in a place where I've been asked to change my hair, but that's not true for everyone. That's not true for a lot of people. And even though I've been fortunate in that, like, I've never worked somewhere that had a rule saying like I couldn't wear my hair natural or I couldn't wear my hair out. That's not to say that I don't still get comments. And that's not to say that I haven't worked places where I did kind of feel like I was getting like disapproving looks or assumptions were being made about me when I would wear my hair natural versus like if I would wear it straight. Ugh, and then there's so much to say about hair. There's like the comments that people give you. Because one great thing about being black and having like hair like this is how much you can do with your hair, like on any given day. And just like, so when you do like take advantage of that and you change up a style, like some of the comments you get are just like, can you leave me alone? Like some of the comments you get are just so odd. Like, so I did start wearing my hair curly when I was like a senior in high school, I think. And I just like came to school one day, I hadn't straightened it anymore, and it was just like the way it looks. And someone was like, oh my gosh, you look so exotic. What are you? And I was just like, exotic? And I know this is a conversation that people always bring up, but it like really hits different when it happens to you and when someone says it to you. When I think exotic, I think like a toucan. I think like a rare type of like cheetah. I don't really think of myself. I'm one of like how many million black women in America? I wouldn't say that I'm like rare in any way or exotic in any way. Like I don't have anything going on that looks that way. So I know that person like thought they were saying something nice, but it really just kind of made me feel like an exhibit. And since that wasn't that person's intention, I really would like to just say again, don't tell people they look exotic. Nobody likes it. And there's lots of ways to compliment or comment on people's hair without saying things like that. One of my favorite is, I like your hair today. I like it. What'd you do? Simple as that. Simple as that. I have a coworker who like regularly colors her hair. I've never once told her she looked exotic. I just tell her I like it. I did tell her that it reminded me of mermaid hair, but that's like a trend. That's not like a thing, so it's not weird. Comment below if you hate being called a mermaid. Ugh, another like really awful compliment I got one time when I changed my hair, this is like story time, is I had been wearing my hair curly for a while and then I straightened it. and someone was like, oh my gosh, you look so sophisticated. What? And the whole day I was like, do I not look sophisticated when I wear my hair the way it grows? Is there something unsophisticated about my hair? It's not like I dressed any differently. I didn't do my makeup any differently. I just had my hair straight. So I did not like that. I did not like that compliment at all. If you could even call that a compliment. I mean, they were smiling when they said it, and they weren't like a person that's ever been mean to me, but yikes. I don't know. Really think like, let's leave the judgment about hair choice in 2020. Like, let's leave a lot of bad things in this year, because this year has decided that it wants to be the worst. So let's just in 2021 be like, oh my gosh, can you believe way back, like the people in 2020, can you believe they used to like judge people based on how their hair looked? Can you believe that in 2020 people used to like try to touch other people's hair? Isn't that weird? So glad we're past that. That will be what 2021 is like. I would just really love for hair choices to not have to be a political thing. Because even like when I straighten my hair, sometimes I get looks from people as if like they think that I'm getting in a sunken place, or like I don't love my natural hair. It's like they think that I'm trying to like whitewash myself. And like, first of all, that's a really rude thing to assume, because as I was saying, not everyone has the same curl pattern. So with my hair, it's, if I like dry it a certain way, like the curls will just like, they'll flatten out. I mean, I think this is true of a lot of people's hair. I'm not a hair expert. I just have a lot of hair stories. But all I need to do to get it to look a lot straighter is like blow dry it, and then sure, if I run a straightener over it, it'll last longer and look a little less frizzy. But even if I did relax my hair, like even if I did decide like I'd like to have straight hair for a month or two, that doesn't mean that I'm deciding like, oh, I hate being black, I hate black people hair, like I hate dealing with natural hair, I just want to have like this type of hair. Like it's not a thing. Like, just like if I put on a blue shirt, doesn't mean that I hate black shirts and I never want to wear a black shirt, and if you have a black shirt, I think you suck. Like, I would just really like to get to a point where we're not like assuming people's like political affiliations and their comfort with themselves and like who they are based on how they're doing their hair that day. So of all the different hair textures that I draw, the stipple, the wavy lines, and the spiral, I can definitely say that stipples are the most time consuming. And I'm really glad that I did stipples in the first drawing like this, because it set a precedent, and whenever I finish hair like this one in under 4 days, it feels lightning fast. So that's been really fun. That being said, I do feel like this is at a good stopping point. I like the way it looks. I'm really happy with the shadows and the highlights and the movement of it. So I hope you guys like it as much as I do. And I feel like actually this whole like face and hair section is just about done. So next video, I'm gonna try to conquer the shading on the neck and the collarbones and the shoulders, and maybe work on the hand a little bit depending on how that goes. I mean, there's not a whole lot of information here like there is right here. So I'm feeling good. I loved sharing all my like hair stories with you guys and kind of going on all those different tangents. I hope you guys enjoyed that and found that interesting, and I would love to hear your stories too, because I know that everyone has like at least one story about their hair, like whether you have curly hair, straight hair, colored hair, natural hair, whatever, different styles. Like it always feels like someone has something to say, and that's kind of what I wanted to like talk about in this video specifically. Like this whole piece isn't about just hair, but what better time to have that conversation than while spending hours drawing hair. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Please comment and tell me your stories. When this is done, it'll go up on Instagram, but that's a long way from now, so probably not even important, but you can find all that information in the show notes. And again, just thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.